welcome back to my kitchen. So glad you could join me. My name's Vicki-Lynne. If you're new here, I follow a mostly plant-based diet, always vegan of course for the animals. And today I have another meal prep for you and just kind of getting through the week. So I've been gone for a little bit and I came home. There's not a lot in the fridge. There's a few things. So I'm just going to show you what I do to use up everything that I have, budget friendly, because we're going to use a lot of pantry staples, and we're going to eat delicious, healthy food for the next few days until we can get to the grocery store. I'm without a vehicle, so again, the grocery stores that I like to go are a little farther away. So I just decided, hey, let's do pantry stuff and use up what we have in the house before we go out for groceries. So I made myself some herbal tea. It's actually a pumpkin one, which is awesome. And when you meal prep, you should be having the music on, having your favorite drink, relax and enjoy it, because as you already know, this is my happy place. So what's on the menu for this week, or what are we doing? I have quite a few things actually. I'm going to roast some vegetables that need to get roasted. I'm going to make my cheese sauce like I always do. Again, that'll be listed up here. I'm just going to go through the basics really fast, but the whole video will be up there if you'd like to try it out. And again, I switch it up all the time with different seasonings, and that's what you should be doing too, just so you don't get bored of the same thing over and over again. I had vegetable broth in my freezer, so I'm going to make a small pot of soup for myself and throw in whatever I still have. I have some onions, I have some carrots. That's going to be perfect. Some lentils, maybe some frozen spinach. We'll figure it out as we go. I'm kind of just doing this as I go. Also have a cabbage, so I'm actually going to make some cabbage steaks when I'm roasting my vegetables. What else am I doing? Some quinoa. I'm going to do some overnight oats. Oh, and I have a whole case of mangoes that have now gone, that have gotten ripened while I was gone, and I need to process those and have those ready to go. So some I'll clean them and I'll show you how I do them. There's different ways of doing mango, and if you have an easier way of doing your mango, you need to please leave me a comment, because I'm a mango fiend and this is the best way I found to do it, but I know there's got to be better ways. I'm going to show you how to make your own sprouts, and it's super easy. I get my seeds off of Amazon. These ones actually, I think the Truly I ordered through the company. These are broccoli. No, I'm sorry. These are pea tendril. And then I have another one, the mums, that you can get obviously different varieties, and this is just like a little spring mix. So I'm just going to, I had shown sprouting a little bit on my one of my last videos a couple of months ago, and somebody had asked me to show them the different steps of how they grow and stuff. And again, super simple. If I can do it, and anybody can, because I have a little black thumb and I'm not really good at growing stuff. So you'll need a clean mason jar or a jar of sorts. Now you can purchase like sprouting systems on Amazon, which I'm sure are really good too. I kind of just keep it down to the basics, where you can order just a little screen, a little film, and all you need is a mason jar, because you just want to be able to drain out the water without losing everything. And I have lost one of my little screens and decided that I'm going to use a garlic bag. So you know the bag that your garlic comes in. We're just going to use that. I'm going to see if that's going to work. Make sure there's no garlic skin in there. And again, you just want something that's going to cover. See, it works perfectly. So you don't even, as long as you have mason jars or a jar that has a lid that you can pop off, you don't even need to order it. Just next time you have your garlic, just hang on to it. And that's all you need, just to keep the seeds in when you're draining them. And that's what you're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to soak them. And depending on the size, you're going to soak them differently. So for my little spring mix, which are tiny, tiny little seeds, and I'll give you a close-up on that, you're going to soak those for 4 hours. And then for the pea tendrils, you're basically going to soak those for 8 hours or so. And that just helps them to start germinating. So let me show you the spring mix, and this is just a mixture. I like both, so I'm just going to use about a tablespoon, as probably actually maybe half a tablespoon, because the bottom jars are smaller. And you, once they soak, you want them to have room to kind of grow and sprout. First thing we're going to do, and then we're going to take our pea tendrils. These are a little bit larger. As you can see, they are just dried peas. These happen to be my favorite. And you just basically want to cover the bottom. We're just going to put some fresh water, and this is purified water, and you're just going to fill it on both. And now we're going to let this one sit for 8 hours or overnight, and then we're going to let this one sit for 4. So we're going to put our films on, nice and easy. Just screw on your top. They don't need to be in the sun or anything. So there we go. And then I'll show you the next step after they've soaked. So let's start with our cauliflower steaks. And I've kind of cut the end off because it had been in the fridge for such a long time that the top wasn't very good. There we go. So I'm just going to cut this into a couple of steaks, about an inch, 3/4 of an inch. 1, 2. Yeah, I should get about 4. Lovely. I also have my oven preheated to 400. I might save a little bit of this cabbage to throw in my soup. Not going to let anything go to waste. And that's the great thing about having a great pantry that's set up for you. Yeah, so those loose ones I'm just going to save. There we go. And so super simple, we're just going to season them how we like. I'm using just a garlic blend that has no salt in it. So pro tip, if you're seasoning and you hold your seasonings up high, they'll spread better than if you're very close. I'm going to use a little Cajun seasoning on a couple of them so we can switch up the flavors. Make that one a little bit spicier. And then this one I'm going to use my Green Goddess, but you could just use, onion powder, garlic, whatever you have, oregano, anything would be lovely. So I'll just put that cabbage aside. And so those are going to go in the oven at 400. And because it just depends on how thick you cut them, they're going to be about at least a half an hour, but I will update you and make sure the recipe is down below so everybody knows what's going on. Okay, all set. Into the oven for this one. Now I'm going to get some potatoes. I'm just going to brown some potatoes. Use my little veggie bowl here. Just going to slice it. I'm actually going to leave this in fairly large chunks. And I don't think the sweet potato actually needs. There we go. I'm going to leave those sweet potatoes. I'm going to use some Yukon Gold potatoes, and I'm just going to slice up a few. And then I'm just going to go in the same oven. I am going to put a little bit of seasoning onto my potatoes, and it's just going to be some granulated garlic. flavorful and delicious. A little bit of onion. And a little bit of smoked paprika. And because they're wet, the seasonings are going to stick, so we don't need any oil. How great is that? Look at those. In the oven they're going to go. I'm just preparing some of the vegetables for my soup. So I do have a couple of potatoes diced, that little bit of cabbage that I took off. We're going to put that in also. I'm just going to cut that up into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to dice up my onion. Put that in the stock pile too. And honestly, guys, there's really no recipe to this soup. I'm just using what I have. Get rid of everything. Use up what's going. We don't waste anything. Try to get this chopped before I tear up. I'm also going to roast some garlic. I love roasted garlic. It's so good just using it the way it is, spreading it on bread. That's our favorite here. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. Super simple. We're just going to cut off a little bit up the top. Just need to wrap your garlic. And I'm going to stick it in the oven while the rest of my other vegetables are cooking. I think I'll just do 1.5 of each. Again, not using oil, you don't need it. But having some great fresh roasted garlic is always great. So we're just going to put that in the oven. That takes about 45 minutes. My oven's at about 400 degrees. We want to make sure that it roasts and it gets nice and soft and brown and just nutty and delicious. So we're just kind of preheating our pot. We're going to add a little bit of water in it. There, it's nice and hot. We're going to add our onions, our carrot, and I chopped up some fennel, which I think will add a nice nutty licoricey taste to this. And we're going to cook that till everything starts to soften. I'm going to add in a little bit of celery seed or celery salt. I'm going to layer flavors in this, adding a little bit of Italian seasoning. Right now, about a teaspoon of each, and this is oregano. I do have fresh thyme and stuff that I'm going to add to this in a little bit, but for now, we just want to start building flavors and getting those to soften. Now that our aromatics have softened, I'm going to add in, I don't know, about 1/2 cup or so of brown lentils. You can use green lentils. I wouldn't use the red lentils because they'll just fall apart, but we want to add extra protein to our soup. And then I'm going to add in our stock. My stock's still a little bit frozen, but that's okay. It's going to defrost in no time. I'm going to actually put a lid on it so we can get that broth to defrost. And we're going to cook our lentils for about 15 minutes. Hey, are you still struggling with meal planning and what to eat every night? Don't forget to order my free ebook. Super simple, Starch Solution friendly, oil-free recipes, and some tips and tricks on how to plan, how to shop, and what to eat. Don't forget, it's free. Order it down below. So now I'm just gonna whip up my cheese sauce. Super simple, super easy. I have my cooked vegetables, which are my potatoes and my carrots, into my blender. And you want to save some of your water, your cooking liquid. That's what we're going to use. Extra starch. Start with a little bit. And then you're just going to adjust how thick you want your sauce. Nutritional yeast. I like mine cheesy. A little splash of mustard, just to give it that tartness. And then some smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic, some turmeric, and a little bit of cayenne. And I'm going to put a little bit of white miso in here. It just gives it that umami flavor. You don't have it, don't worry about it. There's 100 ways or 1,000 ways or 1,000,000 ways to make this potato cheese sauce. Now, because the mixture's hot, you want to make sure that you're venting. And I'm going to start this on low. And I'll add more liquid as I need it. Perfect. Just the way I love it. And again, you make it the way you like it. I might actually even add a little more cayenne pepper because I do like mine to have a little bit of a kick. So our lentils are almost done, so I'm going to add the rest of our vegetables, some cauliflower, some potatoes, some of that cabbage, and some chopped up broccoli. We're hitting all the great groups there. We have our potatoes, we have our lentils for protein, we have our coniferous, and now we're just going to put the lid on that and let it cook for maybe another 10 minutes until those veggies are soft. And then we're going to adjust the seasoning, add a little salt and pepper, whatever you think it needs. All right, so we're just going to do a couple of breakfasts. That's all I'm going to need, and I'm doing some overnight oats. And you can mix this up, match this up, do whatever you want. I'm using what I have in the house. I'm actually going to throw in a protein powder also. I have this Orgain chocolate peanut butter, which I think would be delicious. And I also have this Blessed protein that's churro flavor. So I'm going to make two separate ones. And I actually have chocolate almond milk left in the fridge. And I have some vanilla almond milk. So let's make the chocolate one up first. We're going to take a tablespoon of chia seeds in our container. We're going to take some oatmeal. I'm never good at getting these things in the containers, so I'm going to take help where I can get it. And that's a half a cup. I think that's, I'm just going to add just a touch more. I am going to add, no, I'm going to add some of the protein powder. If you don't have the protein powder, that's fine. You could actually just use the chocolate milk. That's what I do most of the time. Or you could do cacao powder. I'm going to make this one extra chocolatey, or chocolate peanut buttery. So we're just going to add our liquid. Give it a stir. Get the protein powder all mixed in. Now what I like to do is I like to blend them, let them sit for about 5 minutes until the chia seeds start poofing up, and then mix them again. So for my other one, the churro one that I'm going to make, again, chia seeds, oatmeal, use a little bit of our churro powder. You could use just cinnamon. That's what I normally do. I was just thinking I need to use some of these up. They're going to expire. I don't use a lot of protein powder. And then we're going to fill that up. Give that one a stir. And again, I always wait about 5 minutes. Make sure it's stirred really well. I wait about 5 minutes, stir it again. And then I put the lid on and put it in the fridge, and we're good for breakfast tomorrow. I'm actually going to put some goji berries in here. Goji berries are super good for you, and these will soften overnight. It'll be fabulous. Okay. Let those sit for 5 minutes. Okay, so they've sat for about 5 minutes. Just going to give them one last stir. And then we're just going to put the lids on. In the fridge they go. We have breakfast tomorrow. I'll show you how I serve them. All right, so these seeds have been soaking for 4 hours. And just because the light by my sink is bad, I'm just going to show you here. So we're going to drain that water. And then we're going to fill it up with some more. Give it a little rinse. Swirl them around, give it a rinse. Now what I do is I leave mine. Let me dish. I just leave mine on a tilt. On what? I just leave mine on a tilt so the excess water will drain out. And I just leave this beside my sink. And every morning and every evening, you're just going to rinse it with clean water, swirl it, dump out the water, and within about 3 days, you'll start seeing sprouts form, and 1 week to 10 days, depending on how you like them. But I am going to document so you can see every couple of days when anything's changing and when the seeds start sprouting. Now I'm going to just prep my mangoes. I have a whole case of them and they're almost all ripe, so the ripe ones I'm going to do. And again, if you know a better way of doing this, please make sure you let me know. But I always go down both sides of the pit. And make some slices. And then I just take a spoon and kind of loosen it around the skin. And there you have some delicious mango. The only problem with this is that the rest of the mango I find it very difficult to get any of them. All right. So our baked garlic cloves, roasted garlic cloves, you'll see they come out and they're gorgeous. They're soft and just flavorful. Best way to eat them, not gonna lie, need a butter knife and a little baguette. You're gonna take your knife, you're gonna dip it into a garlic clove, and it just comes out so easy. We're going to take our bread, and then you're just going to spread it just like butter. It's so good. I can't wait to bite into this. So good. The garlic is so mellow. It's like a new no-fat butter to use on all your bread. So it's morning, and I have my sprouting seeds. I'm just going to give them a rinse. Just swirl the water around. You're going to drain again. Make sure all that water's out. You don't want them too wet. And then I just put them right here. These are my pea tendrils from last night, so they've soaked for their 8 hours, so I'm going to empty them, rinse them with fresh water. And then these are going to go and also rest. So we're on day 3 of our sprouts. I just wanted to show you how we're doing. I don't know if you can see that. These are the mixed springs. They're starting to sprout. And so we're still just rinsing them in the morning and rinsing them in the evening. And so those ones are coming along just lovely. You can see, I don't know if you can get a better view that way. And then our pea tendrils are also started. You can see there's a little tail on them. And those are starting to come along. Oops, sorry. Those are starting to come along just lovely. Let me open them up so I can show you. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. See, they have little tails that are starting to grow, and that's exactly what we want. We're going to just keep going. This is day 3. And these ones should all be ready by day 7. Okay, so our sprouts have been going since Sunday or Monday, so it's been almost a week, and they are all ready to use. I don't know if you can see how beautiful those are. And you're just going to pull them out, put them on your salads. You guys see that? Put them on your salads, put them on your sandwiches. I like eating them just on top of stuff, just on the side of my plate. And these are the pea tendrils. They turned out lovely. Those are my favorite. And you can see how great those are. They've grown. Those are a great source of nutrients because they're at the beginning stage and you're getting everything, all the energy from them. So that's how easy it is to sprout in a week. Now I have great sprouts to last me for another week. Now what I will do now is I'll stop rinsing them and I'll just actually cover them again just with the netting and put them in the fridge and make sure they just stay nice and cold and use them at my leisure. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Super appreciate it, and I hope you got lots of tips and tricks today, and I hope you're going to start sprouting because sprouting's where it's at. Until next time, we'll see you soon.